And another thing people are complaining a lot about is the training aspect of this. You hear this narrative from the Democrats as if these are a bunch of sort of kids who have no training. Tell us a little bit about the training and experience of the average ICE officer.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this question because this is a lot of misinformation out there on this, especially people saying that we have lowered the standard.
When a government agency says, "Don't worry, our people are highly trained," that's your cue to ask, how long was the training and what did it actually teach them? Because Minneapolis just had 3 federal shootings in 3 weeks. That's not bad luck. That's not isolated incidents. That's a system showing you exactly what it was designed to do. And what I found when I dug into the actual training documents. The recruitment tactics and what's happening on law enforcement forums. It's worse than you think. ICE hired 12,000 people in less than a year, more than doubled its entire workforce in about 4 months. For context, the FBI processes 15,000 applications annually and hires maybe a few hundred. Here's where it gets wild. To hit those numbers, they cut training from 16 weeks down to, some sources say, 6 weeks. ICE reduced its core training pipeline from roughly 16 weeks to 8 weeks. DHS publicly states the current standard is 8 weeks of training. Reporting describes portions of the pipeline as closer to 6 weeks once online modules and abbreviated tracks are accounted for. What isn't disputed is the contrast. FBI special agent training remains 18 weeks, totaling more than 800 hours at Quantico. DEA agent training is also 18 weeks, a standard that has been in place for decades. So while there is disagreement over whether ICE training is closer to 6 weeks or 8, the gap is still clear. ICE agents are being trained in less than half the time required by other federal law enforcement agencies that operate under similar legal authority and risk profiles. And when you compress training by more than half, you're not just cutting content. You're cutting the thing that actually matters: repetition, the muscle memory that keeps you from panicking when someone moves unexpectedly. Because real encounters don't pause while you remember your PowerPoint slides. They also cut the entire 5-week Spanish language training, replaced it with translation technology services. Because what could go wrong when you're screaming commands at someone through Google Translate during a high-stress arrest? So I got my hands on actual ICE training documents. Let me read you an actual quiz question. What actions must be applied before using deadly force? The correct answer, none. Deadly force can be initiated immediately. Another question labels last resort as a myth. The lesson explicitly teaches objectively reasonable force, not minimal force. Translation? You don't need to try anything else first. I went through hundreds of pages of these documents. Not one lesson taught de-escalation strategies, not one. Now in 2023, DHS issued a new policy mandating annual de-escalation training. But when an ICE agent was deposed about a shooting, "Sir, we don't fire warning shots," Causey replied. "You were shooting to kill," Cherniglia said. "That's what we're taught to do," Causey said. It's like mandatory online training you click through while watching Netflix, except instead of an awkward HR meeting, someone dies. But let's talk about who they're trying to recruit. ICE used geofencing, targeting ads at military bases, NASCAR races, and gun shows. $50,000 signing bonuses, age limits waived, direct hire authority that bypasses normal federal hiring. Here's what really caught researchers' attention. Multiple recruitment ads used slogans and imagery that mirrored white nationalist language. One ad featured a song by a white nationalist group. The SPLC found over 450 posts of this song on Telegram, mostly from supremacist channels. Another ad, "One homeland, one people, one heritage." Professors pointed out this mirrors the Nazi slogan, "One people, one realm, one leader." The White House called critics deranged leftists, but recruitment messaging acts like a dog whistle. The people who hear it, they show up. Meanwhile, on law enforcement forums, cops are asking, "Should I leave for ICE?" The pitch: fewer restrictions, bigger bonuses, less accountability. Here's a detail that should bother you. After an agent shot Renee Good, a doctor ran up to help. An agent screamed, "I don't care." They blocked him. 6 minutes passed before anyone started CPR. By the time paramedics arrived, she had no pulse. Federal law enforcement gets extensive medical training. But in Minneapolis, a witness said agents weren't performing CPR. They were counting bullet wounds. Comparison: local police usually have body cameras. Many ICE agents do not wear body cameras. From 2015 to 2021, 59 shootings, 0 indictments. Since September 2025, 9 more. 3 in Minneapolis in 3 weeks. The question isn't whether they followed training. It's, what is the training designed to produce? Speed changes behavior, and Minneapolis is showing us exactly what that looks like.